I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watchman News Exposing Satanic World Government. I hope you guys are all doing well. If you are in the live chat, we do ask to keep it family friendly. There will be moderators in there to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forth to us by the platforms we're utilizing tonight. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when we go live. So, hey, Ernie.
What's going on, Lori? How are you doing tonight?
I know, see.
I know it's been forever. Like 24 hours forever.
I know. It was a long 24 hours. No.
I know. Without you, I don't know what I will do with my life.
I know what I would be doing. I'd be upstairs watching Netflix going to sleep.
You know you don't sleep.
I sleep way too much. So, somebody commented after I made the link for tonight's show over on Exposing Satanic World Government. They're like, oh my gosh, 2 nights in a row. He's on vacation. But he's like, I can't believe it's 2 nights in a row. Usually we are. Usually we come on Sunday, Mondays, and Wednesdays. And then in between there, we may have a special broadcast. But since I started doing Wednesday nights over on Rise of the New World Order, kind of leaves us open for another another live stream in there. But with Dave's schedule getting all messed up these last couple of weeks, we found ourselves being able to come live with you guys. And it just so happens last night kind of opened up the door for tonight's episode, right?
Yes, absolutely. And just like we did last night, the topic that we're going to discuss today is very important. I mean, everything we talk about is important, but it's just one of the things that people need to be aware of and what to look out for, especially when it comes to the growth of artificial intelligence and the applications thereof. So, but first, I want to give glory, honor, and praise to the Most High. Thank for Him to give me the breath of life and giving us a platform to be able to spread His message and serve as watchmen for the world and be able to tell everybody what's going on and what's to come and what to do about it through the instruction manual of life and happiness for eternity, and that's through the Holy Bible. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Selah. Exactly. Because we give, first off, we give all praises to the Most High, the Father. Secondly, uh, even though I have things that I want to talk to you guys about, I don't always bring them immediately. I always wait for the right time, and we know when the right time is.
Absolutely. And times are here, and so therefore it is time for us to put on our seatbelts and strap on, because it's going to be a rough ride.
Yep. Put on our seatbelts, put on our entire armor of God, and push forward into these unknown times. Guys, I just want to first preface this by saying that when you watch things, like when we talk with you guys about Project Bluebeam, I always tell you guys to test all things, study all things, test all spirits, test everything. Don't always believe what is being presented to you, whether it be on the TV, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on um, YouTube, or mainstream media. But now it's coming into real life.
It definitely is, and we have to be cognizant on what we watch through TV and media,
Yeah.
what we listen to, as well as what we see in the physical realm as we go about our daily lives, whether it's at work or grocery shopping or at the beach. We have to be mindful of our surroundings, and there's a lot of things that appear real on the surface, but it's fake.
Exactly. Look at, you know, our special effects, Hollywood special effects, have come so far throughout the last 10 years. You can go to a movie theater, and they can literally have you believing something is happening up on that screen for the next 90 minutes or 100, whatever minutes the movie is. The special effects, the makeup, the costumes, the prosthetics that they use, they can pretty much recreate any tragedy or any realistic or any event and make it look realistic. So when we see these things unfolding on TV, people are like, "Look, wait a minute. I saw them bring people out. I saw the blood. I saw that person's leg blown off. I saw that person's face peeled back." No, you think you saw that. But the special effects are tremendous. We uncovered Jeff Lehman. God, I miss that man. Um, Brought to the Sentinels a website called Crisis. Uh, Something. Wait a minute. What was it called? Something Crisis. It had crisis actors on it, and we looked into it. And literally, they were the ones that would come in and they would run drills with the schools, with the businesses, airports, bus stations, anything like this, malls. They would run these scenarios like fires or natural disaster, plane crash, anything, car crashes, and they would literally dress these people up and have them in a realistic, looking realistic, again with the injuries, the blood, um, and crisis. I can see it in my face, in my head too. I'll find it. And they even went as far as to employ psychologists who work with the crisis actors, who work with them to realistically portray the event that they're going through, the trauma that they're going through. So, even if we see things, people are like, "Oh, I saw it," or "I was there. I was there and I saw it." Now, look it. I was a firefighter. I was a paramedic firefighter back in 1989. I joined the volunteer fire department in Lockport, New York. And I went from there. I got my basic EMT, then I got my advanced EMT, then I got my intermediate, and then I went on to get my paramedic. I worked for the city of Buffalo for 10 years, the 911 system. One of our mutual training scenarios that we went through once a year was it was a plane crash at the Buffalo airport. And back in the like 89 and 90, we didn't have any makeup. We didn't do any of that. You had a toe tag, you had a card, and you kind of played the part. As the years went by, they started bringing in these people who were, putting prosthetics on us and making us look like we were injured, to the point where the last time I did it, I believe it was in I don't even remember the year, but we had pictures, and I'll try to dig them out. I think my ex-husband has most of those pictures, but we had pictures of us taken, and you can't tell. It looks like we're like walking corpses. So don't always believe the things that you see, especially on TV. So what we wanted to play for you today is, last night we started talking to you guys about the AI. We started talking to you guys about how easy it is to fool people with these deep fakes. And this was the AI's rendition of the last selfie on Earth. Well, today I ran across another AI rendition, a little bit different, but they asked the AI to give its rendition of ancient Egyptian goddesses. Take a look.
Asking AI to show ancient Egyptian goddesses.
You notice
asking AI to show ancient.
You notice the AI wasn't too far off on what we believe them to look like. What's your
absolutely.
thought?
Well, I mean, as I discussed last night, all the depictions that AI portrays when it prompted to generate these photos are dark, evil, and just it gives off like a very demonic energy with each and every one of them. Obviously, we know that all these goddesses are just basically depictions of Lucifer in different forms.
Right.
So being able to depict their true colors, I mean, not only does it shines a light on what these gods really are, lowercase g, but it also shows that AI is more advanced than anyone of us ever realized it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's scary how fast it's evolving as well.
It's evolving at a rapid pace. I mean, it seems like the stuff that we see in those science fiction movies and whatnot is starting to manifest and become true. So we're actually visualizing things coming to existence from what we've seen in movies in years past.
Yeah. Sentinel Liberty just said, anyone seen the AI rendition of what God looks like? The pictures were dark and demonic on that too. It doesn't surprise us, considering where they're pulling this information that's coming through. We believe that it is coming through the quantum computer level, which we know is, well, they don't even know where that information is coming from, to tell you the truth. So, yeah, that was something. But we did touch on something that is called deepfakes. And we played a little bit of it yesterday, but I wanted to just pull this up. There's no volume on this one, but take a look at this. First off, She looks real.
I mean, it's actually a real actress. I think she was in the Harry Potter movies.
Yes, this was Emma Watson. Yes, it's an Emma Watson mask. Watch. And I believe that's the actress from I can't remember. It's a comedy.
Right. It was on it's on USA Network. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. That's one that you see. Now, I mean, come on, guys. That would fool me.
Absolutely, especially if you're not seeing it like face to face.
Or not see her take the face off. Yes, Sophia, what is it? Sophia Vergara, yes. Okay, now take a look at this. I'm sorry, that's just creepy.
Yeah, it is. And notice they're focusing a lot on eyes once again. And cube symbolism.
And they're made out of silicon.
Yeah, that's creepy.
So there's nothing okay with that. You're right, there isn't.
I'm sorry, but I'm not drinking anything from the nose.
Right? All right. Yeah. So let me X out of this one. All right. So yeah, we've got these the ability to make these things look real, hyper realistic. It's called, and it's not new.
It's not new at all, but the applications are different than what it used to be.
Exactly. You just sent me. Okay, hold on a second, Steven. You just sent me. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, let's play this one. Steven just sent me what the rendition of God looks like. Oh boy.
Like. Asking AI what God looks like.
That's not my God.
Not my God either. Yeah. Look at what Tweever says. It reminds me of the Living Flesh book, the Necronomicon. Exactly, it does. Totally and completely. All right, so let's continue on. I have a couple of videos I'm going to play for you, and then I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Donald Marshall, and we're going to talk a little bit about what he shared with us on the truth level, I guess you would say. Let's take a listen.
Couldn't tell at a glance which of these are masks. Sure, they go by really fast, but when many people were given unlimited time, they still couldn't tell.
When they're given as long as they like, they're having a really hard time and giving us the wrong answer to this seemingly simple question on about 1 in 5 trials.
We've all seen masks like these in movies like Mission Impossible, but they have made it out of Hollywood and are being used to fool people in real life and even commit crimes, like this masked bank robber in California.
The police were looking for someone of a particular description, and it later transpired that they'd been looking for someone who was totally different.
To learn more, I spoke to Rob Jenkins. He's a psychologist who has published studies looking at facial perception using hyper-realistic masks.
Can you talk about these experiments you've been running in recent years, looking at how these masks are indeed fooling people?
And these hyper-realistic masks break the connection that we've all become used to between facial appearance and identity. And we were interested in whether people are getting away with that kind of concealment because people just aren't paying attention. They don't see any reason to be looking at a particular person's face, or maybe they're just not expecting to see something like a highly realistic mask, and so it doesn't occur to them that that might be what they're seeing. Or if the masks really are so realistic that they just pass for regular humans. And so we wanted to test that more formally. We had this computer-based task where we're showing people pairs of images on screen, and they just have to say which one is the mask. Now, we've done that in a couple of ways. One is just kind of at a glance. So it's to model the sort of situation where, someone walks past, we're talking like half a second or something, they just catch your eye. And we did that because we thought this task might be too easy and we'll just see everyone's performing perfectly, right? That wasn't the case at all. So people were terrible at making these discriminations when it was a brief presentation. So we decided to make it easier on them and just say, okay, you can take as long as you like. And when they're given as long as they like, that improves performance a little bit, but they're having a really hard time and giving us the wrong answer to this seemingly simple question on about 1 in 5 trials.
That's actually one of the reasons I find this so interesting, is that we're evolutionarily programmed to pick up on facial cues. It's so much of our social interaction, yet you have these masks that aren't necessarily 100% realistic, still fooling a good amount of people.
Humans are social animals, and so we rely very much on getting whatever insight we can into each other's mental states from our appearance. So we can tell if someone's following along in conversation. We can tell if they're cross with us or pleased to see us or skeptical of what we're telling them. And we need to do that. We also need to be able to connect it to particular individuals so that when we see them again, we can remember what happened last time and behave accordingly.
And this isn't necessarily for fun and games. There's actually been some reports of these being used in crimes to conceal identity, right?
We started to notice a few years ago that we were seeing reports in the news of things like bank robberies where say the police were looking for someone of a particular description, and it later transpired that they'd been looking for someone who was totally different from the appearance of the actual culprit. So we're talking things like totally different age, maybe different race, different gender, that sort of thing. And so you can see how that kind of misleading of the investigation could really get things off on the wrong path. There was a case in the United States where there was a string of bank robberies that CCTV footage showed appeared to be carried out by someone in their 70s or 80s. And this figure gained a kind of anti-hero status online, known as the Geezer Bandit. And so people were following him, and, you know, to some extent there was some cheering on of this pensioner who was sticking it to the man, and he almost got caught on his final job. So he was escaping on foot from the scene of the crime, and apparently ran off at such great speed that people watching started to wonder if this really was someone in their 70s or 80s. And at that stage, opinion started to shift towards, okay, well, this looks as if it could be someone much younger wearing a mask that's putting us off the scent.
I think what's really interesting with that bank robbery case is the disconnect between what people thought of for his face and what people thought of for his ability to run, which old people don't do very well. How might that disconnect be playing out when people are making these judgments about how a person might be able to move?
If we want to improve detection of these masks when they're being misused for criminal activities, part of the solution might be to look for other cues that conflict with the signal you're getting from the face. There could be mismatches in apparent age. So if the way the person is moving looks very youthful, but the face looks very old and wrinkled and haggard, that's a useful mismatching cue. So there are a number of things that you could look for that are not directly to do with facial appearance, but exploit the facial appearance in conjunction with other messages that you're getting. And that sort of conflict could be a part of the detection story, I think.
These hyper-realistic masks aren't anything new. We've seen them in the movies, but what seems to be new is that the price has been coming down quite significantly. Can you talk about maybe the evolution of the industry here, how this is becoming more available for regular folks like us?
I think this started off in like Hollywood special effects industry, and there were a few craftsmen who were masters of this particular form of artistry and were involved in sculpting and monster making and all the rest of it. And they developed these techniques using various materials over the years. They started around $600 up to $1,000, maybe $1,500. So I have one here that's kind of an old favorite, this one. So as you can see, it's made of the silicone material. Silicone is very durable, but also very flexible. And it kind of looks like human skin, in fact, which is the idea, of course. And it's not what most people think of when they think of a mask, because it's a single piece that goes right over the head, down the neck, and over the shoulders. So there's no visible join at all. So each one is hand painted. Everyone is unique, but you see all the details, like little freckles and all the wrinkles are there. Each one is hand punched with human hair. So in this case, eyebrows, there's a bit of ear hair there for added realism. This is another example I've got that has a full head of hair. All of these developments over a number of years have led to the position we're in now, where there are some manufacturers around the world producing similar products along those lines. And as a consequence, the price has come down a bit, and we're starting to see these more widespread than they were initially.
I mean, you have clearly shown that humans are not very good at picking up these masks, but might that actually pose a problem for facial recognition? Are computers actually going to be able to recognize these as fake faces?
Although these hyper-realistic face masks look a lot like real faces in the visible spectrum of light. There are other parts of the light spectrum you could potentially play with. So let's think about infrared. The thermal signature of a real face is going to be quite different from the thermal signature of a masked face, especially when that mask is made of silicone, because silicone is a very good heat insulator, right? So you can imagine if you had infrared vision, which is a problem for humans, but not at all a problem for automatic face recognition systems, that might just be a really quick and simple way to tell, well, that's not a real head that I'm looking at because it's not glowing.
Are there gaps in the way that we as humans can perceive faces?
This is a question that's kind of new to science. And we know that there's a range of ability in identification tasks, just telling who's who. Some people are really, really good at that. And in security and forensic context, there's increasing interest in being able to screen for those people so that you can assign people to tasks that involve face recognition who are naturally good at that and tend not to make mistakes. Whether you could do the same with this new task of detecting synthetic faces is an open question, but it's one that we're looking into.
Thank you for showing us your real face today.
That's
So you can see that these masks open up a whole new realm of possibility for not only criminals, but for even just public figures.
Yeah, I can open up a can of worms too.
Yeah, he was talking about, criminals, criminals going in and wearing these faces. Look, I guess people aren't very observant. That's why when they train police officers, they have a whole class on getting to recognize and be aware of your surroundings. If somebody were to see somebody, briefly, like for a split second, and so you were to ask, what is this person's wearing? How old was he? How tall was he? What color hair did he have? What color eyes did he have? People would be like, I don't know, because we're not observant people. We are social people, like he said, but we're not very observant. So,
well, I mean, the thing is too, they can be taught all they want how to be observant, but I mean, as we can see here, I mean, what they observe can be completely fake. I mean, there's different color contact lenses. There's, I mean, the mask can depict real people, but they never existed.
Right.
I mean, people can even go all out and change their whole body type.
Yeah,
using
there's
these types
suits,
of exactly.
We showed you this last night. This website, it's called "This Person Does Not Exist.com." It's a random face generator. This person does not exist. And if we keep refreshing the page, every single image that comes up on this page is a person who doesn't exist. I mean, that alone gives other ramifications for literally these mask makers can pull up these images and create masks. And these, I believe that's probably going to possibly be a stumbling stone for facial recognition.
Absolutely. I mean, we already know they're coming out with a system that your credit is based off of what you do. And the fact of the matter is, for all the technology that is designed to scan faces, having that type of mask on can really like make you incognito when it comes to who you are and what you do. I mean, we're by looking at that, I was thinking about video games in general. Now, I don't know if any of you in chat play video games, but over the years, haven't you noticed that characters in video games are becoming more and more realistic?
Absolutely. Absolutely, they have.
And that type of thing is translating into our physical realm.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, as you can see here, they're using real hair on these silicone faces, and they have completely depicted the eye at a level where you can't even determine what's real or fake.
Exactly. And looking at this Donald Trump mask, I don't know if you guys remember, but back 2 years ago, when he was still president, he got sick with COVID, and he went to what is the military hospital? Can't think of it. Anyways, he went to the military hospital, and about 3/4 of the way through his stay, he decided that he was going to go for a ride, and he left the hospital. And we got pictures of that, and then they took a picture of him in another room at the Bethesda hospital, I believe it was. And we did an episode called The Two Donalds. Let me go to Odyssey and see if I can pull it up real quick. I'm just going to pull up the just going to show you the thumbnail of it, because I show literally the two different. You couldn't get any more of night and day. But the thing of it is you only spotted it if you put the two together. Again, people aren't very observant. Oh, I got it. Here we go. I don't know if you guys can see it. I hope you can. I'll try to make it a little bit bigger for you. Right here. See if I can pull it up. Ruh-roh. I lost it. Wait a second. Should be coming up right here. Look at this. Now the one on the left was what we saw leave the hospital and get into the limo and drive around, and he waved at everybody to say that he was okay. The one on the right was a picture of him signing documents at Bethesda Naval Hospital while he was still an inpatient. He was feeling a little better, and they got him up, and he was working in this office. So looking at him separately, you could fool people until you do what I did and then put them together, and there's definitely a difference.
Absolutely. I mean, they can only fake so many people.
Well, you only got to fake some of the people some of the time. You never really have to fake. You never have to fool all the people all the time.
That's correct. As long as the majority is fooled, then they have control. Right.
Because then you've got people like us who are calling out the inconsistencies, and we're the crazy ones.
Yep, and they'll take us to court over it too.
Right. Yeah, that's a whole nother show.
Right.
Ooh. All right. Here's one I've got. And like I said, I got a few, and then we're gonna get on to some of the meat of what I wanted to talk about tonight.
You do as well. So all our
There we go.
What's up, you guys? This is Steve, and I'm here to do a little demo for you guys of our Arthur silicone mask with full hair, beard, and eyebrows, and give you a few tips on how to put on the mask and get a better fitment. So the first thing you want to do to put on your silicone mask is you're going to put your hand inside the mask. I usually keep my fingers closed and my hands like this, put them inside the mask around where the ears are. So I'll put them inside, and I will spread the mask a little bit, slide it on my head, and then try to find my senses a bit and slide my ends out like this. This reduces any risk of tearing the mask or pinching. You don't want to pinch it or pull, because that could cause damage to your mask. Another tip is I try to fit the high hole inside the crease of my eyes here. So I just push it in, and it kind of hides the seam a little bit better. And another thing you can do as well, so all our masks have a flexible nose bridge. So what you can do is you can press or expand it to get a better fitment depending on your head size. One of the tips I can give you to get a better fitment, if the mask fits a bit big on you, is you can put either a really small beanie or just something small and light inside the mask, kind of like a small cloth or something like that, to fill in the gap of the skull. So we'll do this for fun, just to show you guys So I'll just put kind of like a couple tissues at the bottom here. Okay. So I just put them at the top of the head here. And then I'm going to put on the mask. So I'll try to find my senses as well as possible. Get my nose bridge. And to fit the eye holes, I kind of push the crease up here and I try to line up the lower lid with the mask. So usually that's a bit easier to do in front of a mirror. And there you have it, guys. In not only a few seconds, you can really change your appearance. Take it off, hands inside again. And that's it, it's that easy.
And those aren't the masks that the elite use. They have ones that are probably created by DARPA.
I mean, that's a food club version right there.
Right. Exactly. We showed you guys this the other night. It's funny how all of these things that we've been talking about lately are just coming into play right now. Here, and I'm not going to put the volume on, I'll just play it while we're talking. Here's that creepy AI robot from over on TikTok. Take a look at, let me see if I can pull it, stop it right here. Look at you. He's even got like the pores in his forehead. You can see here. Do you see that?
Absolutely. From where he shaved. I mean,
yeah.
Look at the structure of his jaw and the cheekbones and like everything is like to minute detail.
Exactly. To the milliliter or I'm sorry, millimeter. Yeah. It's pretty crazy. I pulled that back up because of that, because I wanted to show people the intricate, tiny little wow. I don't even know what to say. All right, let's get on to the meat part of this. So what does this mean? What does this mean for us? Well, this is what it could possibly mean. Take a listen.
I don't think anyone's caught this. Don't scroll. Everyone's worried about the blinking, and you missed the CGI moment. I'm going to show you. The inside of his face is moving independently from the rest of his head. Here you go.
Donald Trump lacked the courage.
That's a face being projected onto another head. Watch it again.
That was not the one I wanted. I wanted the one that showed the little tab above his ear. There's a picture, a video out showing Biden, and it looks like he's wearing a mask. You can see, where did I do with it? Give me a second. What did I do with it? I sent it to somebody today.
You know, Dr. Fauci says you must wear a mask to stop the spread.
I don't think he meant this mask, though. What do you What do you think? Do you think he meant this kind of mask? I don't think so.
I don't know. I think it counts.
I think it counts. Anyways, Deb, did I send you a video with a mask lately over on TikTok? Let me know if I did. You could keep an eye out in the chat for if she answers me or not. I know I sent it somewhere. Okay, so who do I believe is playing the part of Biden? I happen to believe it is the actor Arthur Roberts. And Arthur Roberts may look familiar to you. He's been in quite a few movies, but he has also been in a little movie known as a training video for a little company called Illumicor. You guys remember this?
Hello, initiates, and welcome to Module 1 of the Illumicor video training course. I would like to officially welcome you as a member of the team. You've joined our organization at perhaps the most exciting point in our long history.
I believe this man right here is the one playing Joe Biden.
Could very well be the case. I mean, how real these masks look. Everything we see on TV could be fake.
Right.
And those who are old, as far as like the elite goes, who doesn't think that they don't have the technology to make them be youthful, and then put on that mask that just to show that they're quote unquote aging.
Exactly. And we've told you guys that we used to think that the technology was maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years in the future, but we're thinking it's more on the lines of 1 to 200 years. This is something, again, this is from Bibliocalipate, a website that I use quite frequently to outsource my information. This talks about clones, synthetics, organic robotoids, and doubles. And this goes all the way back to 1890 when they started the research on this. And this talks about synthroids. It talks about not so much as cloning humans, but creating synthetic duplicates of these humans. And Donald Marshall was a whistleblower. Donald Marshall was the one that said that he was cloned, that he was held captive, that he had actually been and seen the cloning centers. He talked about one huge one that's in Russia. And he even said that they have the ability to create synthetic doubles of whoever, whether it be an elite, a politician, a Hollywood star, a musician, singers, whatever it is. If you serve their purpose enough, if you make them enough money, and you toe the line, you could be cloned too. You could have a body double too. I believe a lot of the elites that have disappeared, that have died, and within the last few years, was it Rockefeller? David Rockefeller, I believe. He had something like 6 heart transplants, and finally, I believe they transferred him into another body. But that's just me.
Could be the case. I mean, I can't put anything past what they're doing right now.
Absolutely not.
Especially after finding out about what they're doing with these types of silicone masks, and these aren't created by hand. This ties into what we discussed yesterday, which is AI is creating these.
Yeah, I believe, AI, we've got the ability to clone people. We've got the ability. Guys, look at when Lucifer approaches an elite or a Hollywood star or a Hollywood musician or somebody with high qualifications, and makes them the offer for success for a career, you have to give something in return. Everybody has, if you're a billionaire, a trillionaire, you pretty much have everything you need. There's nothing you want for. If there's something you want, you buy it. You've got more money than brains. What is the one thing Lucifer can come to somebody with this much narcissistic tendencies and be like, look, I can't give you riches, I can't give you diamonds, I can't give you boats, I can't give you mansions. You have all that. I can offer you eternal life. All right. And I think that's what we're seeing here on a level, a large scale level. Let's take a look at these. There's some people that are called doppelgangers. And what they are is, supposedly everybody has a double somewhere. But look at this. Brad Pitt. What do American actor and producer Brad Pitt and Swiss psychologist and psychoanalyst Herman Rorschach have in common? Probably nothing, except for the face. Orlando Bloom, long movie lovers, and the hunky action hero Orlando Bloom to Ogle, Romanian gifted the world a prototype of the Bloom we knew today in the form of Nicolae Grigorescu. These aren't doppelgangers, guys. Macaulay Culkin, you know who he is. Queen Latifah. Look at this, Queen Latifah.
There's a Jay-Z one too that is eerily similar in their facial structure and everything. That made me chuckle.
Oh, Matthew McConaughey. Jack Black. Look at Michael Jackson. Let's talk about Michael Jackson for a minute. We know that the Egyptians, the Syrians, they got rid of the noses for a reason, because they're all black noses. They're all melanated noses. And we saw Michael Jackson do basically the same thing. He didn't like his nose. He wanted it to be skinnier and thinner, and he bleached his skin. And is it a coincidence that it looks just like one of these Egyptian death mask? Huh. John Travolta. Look at Alec Baldwin. That's supposed to be Millard Fillmore, by the way. There's Matt Damon. They didn't even change anything on Matt Damon. They didn't even change his smile.
No, not at all.
I think that's Shakespeare. Shia LaBeouf. Peter Dinklage. Look at that. Come on. You know what? This guy here on the right, it's a portrait of Tyrone Lannister. He was also a small person, too. What about Justin Timberlake? Keanu Reeves. Johnny Depp. Really?
Only thing I notice is different is the ears.
Yeah. Jennifer Lawrence. Nicolas Cage.
That's scary.
Now this one. Now the video that I thought I sent to Deb, and I thought I saved it and I didn't, was a video that showed people like Mark Zuckerberg. Actually, you could see when you look down, he was in a video, you could see the mask underneath. He had like a kind of like a V-shaped t-shirt on, and it kind of went down a little too far, and you could see the line of the mask.
Well, I mean, if you watch a lot of his interviews, there's always something off about him when you looked at him.
Remember when he addressed Congress?
Yes. I remember when the time that he addressed like a looks like a college classroom, and he's saying when he was a human.
Yeah, when I was human. That's what he said, when I was human. Yeah. Look at Eddie Murphy.
Wow.
Robin Williams. Look at Jimmy Fallon. Some of these people, I don't know who they are. Maggie Gyllenhaal. Look at Adrian Brody. Got the nose even. So those are known as doppelgangers. I don't believe they are doppelgangers. I believe that they are probably people that sold their soul to Lucifer and have they don't die. Would they be considered vampires?
They could, or they can have been cloned.
Or they could have been cloned. Absolutely. Or they could have been cloned. One more video. And then we're going to show a trailer of a movie that you brought to my attention before we went live.
Absolutely.
Me, Jennifer Lopez. I'm so excited to be on Start Here, my absolute favorite show. Let's talk about my new album. Or we could talk about the dangers of deepfakes. They've gone from lookalikes that seem a bit off.
This is a dangerous time.
Trust in what is genuine and what is not.
To scary good videos that have gone viral.
We have now reached a state where the impersonations are extremely well done, extremely hard to detect.
I genuinely love the process of manipulating people online for money.
The technology behind deepfakes is getting smarter, while new apps are making it easier.
The better deepfakes become, the harder it becomes to assess what is real and what is fake.
So what are deepfakes? How can you spot them? And why could something as fun as a face swap actually be the start of something way more sinister? Let's break down the word itself. The fake in deepfake is pretty self-explanatory, while deep refers to deep learning by a machine, which is a type of artificial intelligence.
And this is used to impersonate people into saying things, they've never said, or acting like they've never acted before.
Probably the best way to explain it is to show you how we did it.
So I'm here with Khaldoon, Start Here's graphics genius, and he's taken a video of me and a video of Jennifer Lopez.
So I used a free software online called Deepfake Lab. The first step is to turn your video into hundreds of images, basically the frames. And the second step is to separate the face from the images.
So the software is pinning my eyes and my mouth to the center of the frame so that it's easier to align with JLo's face.
And then we go to the step 3, which is the machine learning. I need to keep pressing P to update because it takes so much time. I just put the die on the P and then put some weight on it and go grab coffee. And then we have the final step, basically is adjusting the skin tone and merging the two faces on the final result.
The whole process actually took a few days, but making deepfakes is getting easier as the technology improves, and it's improving fast. So what can we do with it? Well, there are plenty of useful, creative, and harmless applications to all this deepfakery. This anti-malaria campaign had David Beckham speaking 9 languages.
Malaria isn't just any disease. وما زالت تقتل طفلا كل دقيقتين.
This documentary used deepfakes to hide the real faces of LGBTQ people in Chechnya who were afraid to be identified. There are slightly weirder uses as well. The website MyHeritage reanimates photos of your dearly departed relatives, and some people find that comforting. What all of those examples have in common is that they're not about trying to deceive people, and the people involved are all in on it. The problem is when deepfakes are made of people without their consent. And so often, that means women. There are people out there using pictures of celebrities and ordinary women and deep faking them onto pornography actors. A study in the Netherlands found that a staggering 96% of the deepfakes online were non-consensual porn.
It's women's bodies, identities, and rights that are being transgressed.
It's humiliating, it's embarrassing, and particularly with deepfakes becoming so good, it's very difficult to convince people that that isn't you, because if it looks like you, it might as well be you. We see big impacts on people's mental health, depression, anxiety.
And it goes beyond the world of porn. A mother in Pennsylvania has been accused of trying to discredit 3 of her daughter's rivals on a cheerleading squad. Her police said she made deepfakes of them naked, drinking, and smoking. Financial scammers are using deepfake technology too. In 2019, criminals used AI software to impersonate the voice of a businessman's boss on the phone. They convinced him to transfer more than $240,000 to a bogus Hungarian bank account. So the dangers of deepfakes are already real. And they're adding to a whole world of misinformation, a world where it can already be hard to know what's true and what's not, where actual facts are dismissed as false, conspiracy theories thrive, and powerful states run sophisticated disinformation campaigns.
Most of the misinformation we see and most of what people get affected by is much lower tech things. Photos taken out of context, things that are simple Photoshop jobs, much simpler and cheaper ways of making misinformation go viral.
Like this video of Nancy Pelosi, a senior US Democrat who was made to look drunk just by slowing down the video.
It's really sad. And here's the thing. And I told this to the room. It's really sad. And here's the thing. And I told this to the room.
But the power of deepfake technology takes it all to another level.
In the old days, if you wanted to threaten the United States, you needed 10 aircraft carriers and nuclear weapons and long-range missiles. Increasingly, all you need is the ability to produce a very realistic fake video.
What deepfakes do is create a climate of doubt to the point where what's actually real can be mistaken as something fake. That's what happened in Gabon. Back in 2019, President Ali Bongo hadn't been seen in public for months. And when the government released this video, he didn't really look like himself. Turns out the president had suffered a stroke that changed how he looked. But some people were convinced he was dead and that the video was a deep fake. A week later, a group of soldiers attempted a coup. So how can we spot deepfakes? Well, there are some signs we can look for. There might be differences in resolution, or if you see ghosting around the face or blurring around the ears or hairline, chances are a computer made it.
What I tell people is if something makes you feel a strong emotion, either really good or really mad, that's the time to take an extra second and check to see if it's real.
But the reality is that as deepfakes get better, they'll get harder and harder to spot. Researchers at universities and companies like Microsoft and Facebook are working on automated software to find and flag them. Organizations like the UN, Europol, and the FBI are all actively looking into how to counter deepfakes as a threat.
We're always in this arms race of kind of a new technology exists, people start using it for bad things, and then we kind of adjust our understanding and move forward.
There's nothing inherently bad about the technology, but we know the harm it can do. So what you and I can do is be more aware. Don't be fooled by the rocks that I got, or the face that I got either.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, that psychologist that they interviewed had a couple of interesting keywords, such as arms race. Yeah, she was basically predicting what's going to happen. They're going to use certain applications such as Facebook and Twitter and whatnot to quote unquote use artificial intelligence to determine deepfakes. Here's the thing, though. We already know that these social networks are designed to censor and dispel the truth.
Yeah.
So they can say they use that technology to determine whether a picture is fake or real. They basically told you what they're doing in that video without telling you what they're doing in that video.
Exactly. I mean, and, you think about the political ramifications of it. And they, I think they said about something that would only take one fake video to, to cause an uproar. Well, I think that the Democrats try to use that same psychological aspect, talking about the pictures and the video that came out about the potato in charge's son. They tried to say they were fake. I don't believe they were because look at, again, DARPA. We've got DARPA that yes, they could, but the people that are in charge of DARPA now would go the opposite direction. They would be protecting the potato in chief's son rather than putting out videos, to blackmail him or to discredit him. Could you see the ramifications if they were to put out a video of North Korea's, I always call him Cartman, their leader there. If they were to put out a video of him threatening the United States or threatening Russia or you know what I'm saying? They could very easily do that. They could very easily put out a video of Joe Biden doing that too.
Right. And when she mentioned arms race, I mean, what's the purpose of an arms race? To be the first to do something. U.S. is not the only country that's doing this.
No.
So everybody is trying to advance their technologies to be the best. And by being the best, they can broadcast things that are virtually undetectable to the naked eye.
Yeah.
Or even some AI software can't even determine that.
Right. And, and like I said, you don't have to fool all the people all the time. You just got to fool some of the people some of the time.
And only the right people at that.
Exactly. So let's play the final video we've got here. And that is, you told me to pull up a movie.
I did. And all this ties into stuff that we have already seen in movies in years past. And the funny thing about movies is they tell you what's going to happen in the future, whether it is fiction or nonfiction, whether it's sci-fi or comedy, or no matter what genre it is, chances are what you're seeing and watching in the movies will be in real life in the near future. Now, how many movies have we saw that in the past that, that would never happen in the future? That's way too advanced. Now we're living in it right now.
Yeah, we're living it. Like I said, I mean, you can go to the movies, 90-minute, hour, hour and a half, 2-hour movie, and they can make you believe that you're in another universe. They can make you believe that you're, you've got whatever. I mean, literally, they can take your strangest your most horrific imagination and turn it into putting something out like that on the screen.
Absolutely. And you add in the advancement of virtual reality technology.
Yeah.
You're going to put yourself in a own world where your perception of reality is dramatically changed.
Right. Somebody had mentioned holographic technology. Now, can you imagine if they blended all of these together with the holograms, with the deep fakes, with these silicone masks or bodies or whatever? You're talking, who would know? Except for the people that made it.
Well, I like to return things back to the Bible. Who do you think can be portrayed as such in the end times using this type of technology? Yeah, exactly.
The Antichrist, absolutely. And we talked about this yesterday when I asked you. I said, because we got talking about the aspects of AI before we went live, and I had asked you a question. I said, do you think that the AI could possibly be the Antichrist? And you said no.
The reason why I said no is the Bible clearly depicts the description of who this person will be, and the Bible didn't say he will be iron mixed with miry clay. He will be in the flesh on this earth, but that does not mean he won't use the technology to portray himself as God, because the technology is there.
Exactly, because we know that in the end times, the Antichrist is going to be, he's going to be doing miracles. He's going to be performing miracles. What better way to perform a miracle if he can project himself in London and New York at the same time?
Or using this technology that's in place to talk to you through your head.
Right. Voice of God technology.
Exactly.
Absolutely. All right, let's play this. What's the name of this movie?
Surrogates.
Robotic human surrogates combine the durability of the machine with the grace and beauty of the human body. With most people living their lives through their surrogate selves, our world has become a safer place. Take a seat in your STEM chair, and just with the power of your mind, you can control your surrogate and send it out into the real world. You can finally...
I got to stop it midway a couple of times so we don't get hit. This is kind of like Avatar, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say it's on a different scale, because instead of having like a mythological or different figure on a different part
this
of the
would
galaxy.
be in the real world.
Exactly.
Okay.
live the life you've always dreamt of, without any risk or danger to yourself.
We are confronted with an unprecedented situation. 2 people have died while connected to their surrogates. I think we may actually have a homicide here. First one in 15 years. The public cannot be allowed to get the idea that using a surrogate can be fatal. Especially if it's true. I just want to know how an operator can be killed by signals from a surrogate.
If it were possible, it would defeat the entire purpose of surrogacy. Oh my God, Tom?
You're lucky to be alive. Good thing you're unplugged.
How long is it since you've been out without a surrogate?
Can't even remember.
Okay, I don't want to play anymore because I don't want to get with a copyright strike. But you guys get the idea of that movie, right? Wow. There was another movie back with Arnold Schwarzenegger called Face Off. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's just 2 of many that has been out there.
Yeah.
And we watched those movies back then. Like I just said, although that'll never happen in real life.
Right. That'll never happen. That'll never happen at all. Yeah. So if you guys are interested in purchasing a synthetic mask, there is a site. It's called realfleshmask.com. I don't know why they would name it Real Flesh Masks. I don't even want to know. But here is the site, and if you go to the masks, it shows us these are the masks that you can get. All kinds of them. And understand that this is just what they showed the public. This is not military grade by any stretch of the imagination. This is public grade. But if they can do them this good for us in the public, can you imagine? Guys, we've known from back in the 1940s and 1950s during the spy era when the United States was spying on Russia and Russia was spying on the United States. All of our CIA agents, they had this technology. They had the ability to change their looks.
Exactly. And keep in mind too that how they're manipulating DNA and skin cells and whatnot, what goes to say that some of the masks they're using are not actually biological?
That's right, because they do have the ability to grow real skin now. Let's go to that. Lab-grown human skin holds promises for skin grafts. Here we go. So researchers have succeeded in growing the most lifelike human skin in the lab to date. Allen Institute for Cell Science cell lines formed the basis for the human skin organoids. And so they have the ability, and look at this, the Allen Institute for Cell Science. Jeez, just the name is creepy. And then we also have the Clonade. Here's the Clonade, the website. This organization, this company right here, is already doing human cloning. They perform services. I think I went over this with you guys before. Clonade is the world's leading provider of reproductive human cloning services. Eve, the first cloned baby, was born on December 26th, 2022. Wow. Isn't that interesting, the dates? Thanks to our team of highly skilled scientists, since then, we have been able to help a number of patients have their own children through our cloning technology. Clonade can help you if you are sterile or you've lost hope of having the child you dreamed of. If you're homosexual and have a deep desire for a child who would carry your own genes. If you just lost a child or about to lose a beloved family member, you would like to see an identical twin of that person begin a new life. If you're HIV positive and want to have a child with your genetic twin without infecting either the baby or your partner, or if you just simply want to be cloned, whatever your reasons may be. Talks about the history of it. It is the first human cloning company in the world. It was founded in February of 1997 by Rael. I showed you guys who Rael was. He's that UFO, runs that UFO cult. Let me pull him up here. This is Rael. He's got the UFO cult. This is him right here. And he runs a UFO cult.
Take apart that name, it's Ra and
Ra
L.
and L. I know, Ra and L. Can't you get any? You just can't make this stuff up. So the technology is out there, and again, they show us the technology that they have. They show us the technology they want us to believe that they have. But this is the state of the art. Nobody has any more technology better than this. When in reality, they have, I would say, I don't know. I'm going to say 100 to 200 years in advancement through DARPA, through the other. Ken just sent me something. What did Ken send me?
So basically, everything you see is the food club version of what they already have. They're the members mark version.
Exactly. Yeah.
What we have right now is light years behind what they have.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. One second. I did post that actually on my wall. I posted up on ESWG. Let me pull it up for my wall so I don't show anybody else's. Here we go. Take a look at this, guys, and just kind of, ponder this for a moment, if you will. And I'll pull up the link because I have the link under mine. Pigs have been laying dead in the lab for an hour. No blood circulating. Their hearts were still. Their brainwaves were flat. When researchers injected a solution called Organ X into their bodies, their hearts beat. Their organ cells started to function again. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, downfall of man? Nothing big.
There we go. Scientists reanimate dead cells in pigs, a potential breakthrough for organ transplants. Really? I told you guys, pigs have the closest DNA makeup to humans. That's why they use pig hearts doing transplants in human beings.
Absolutely. And we got to look at it from a biblical perspective too. And how can we apply this that we have just learned tonight to biblical scripture? Well, if you look at there's a few different verses that come to mind. Now, in the book of Genesis, we know that God formed man from dust, right? But God also say, let us make man in our image after our likeness. Now, the stuff that's being created to clone, to mask, to reanimate, or make things more life sustainable for longer than what we're supposed to be here on this earth, that's not coming from God.
No.
We have to realize that unless John 3:5 says, unless you are born of water and the spirit, you cannot enter the kingdom of God.
Yeah, and
So
you have to ask yourself, these entities that they're creating, they don't have souls. They were not produced by the spark of the Most High. So they would be soulless. They would be essentially, they would be what is known as a golem.
Exactly. And with this technology, what makes you think they won't go as far as reanimating the dead?
I think that's where they're going, to tell you the truth.
Right. And there are certain key figures throughout the history of man that I believe they would love to bring back to Earth.
Yeah, we're I see where you're guys see what you're doing.
Exactly.
A
little food for thought there.
I see what you're doing. So the research team, myself and the research team are. Well, why don't you tell them what we're working on?
Well, we have uncovered some very startling things as far as the United States and their place in biblical prophecy. Now, we're still working on gathering all the information and then putting it together into one cohesive form so everybody will understand. But the fact of the matter is, everything we've told in history has been a lie.
Mm-hmm.
From where we were born, to the country that we live in, to who roamed where on the earth during biblical times. And one of which that we're starting to uncover is the nation of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, me and Lori
Israel, Egypt, all in that stretch of land over there, that landmass.
Right. And right, Richard, Nimrod.
Yes.
Now, Nimrod is a very, very key figure as far as biblical prophecy goes. As most of you are aware, he was a mighty hunter in the eyes of the Lord, but he also ruled over Babylon.
Right.
Now, in the book of Revelations, we talk about the fall of Babylon, or mystery Babylon the Great. Now, we have reason to believe that a certain area in the United States is known as Mystery Babylon. And the fact that so many towns, landmarks, and structures are built
Memphis, Alexandria, Cairo.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They are all formulated out of the real Egypt.
That's right.
And with the technology that we have now in the world, as we discussed here in this broadcast, the person that can come up and being raised as the Antichrist, I have reason to believe is going to be Nimrod. And we're formulating a lot of information as to why.
Right. To back up that theory. That
exactly.
Thesis. Exactly. And we are in talks with somebody who was in the military. I'm not going to give too much information about there. He has signed a non-disclosure agreement with the military where he cannot release a lot of the information, but he was there when they discovered the Giant of Gilgamesh, and when they pulled out Nimrod from Baghdad. He cannot talk to us about those things, but he's getting around it because the Smithsonian Institute has picked up on all of these things, and that is where everything is being hidden right now. So he cannot tell you about what he knows that happened over there, but he can tell you what he knows about the Smithsonian. So he's getting away with it that way. He right now he works. He's working quite a few hours. He works like 100 hours a week. He travels around the country. He's actually involved with our infrastructure of the United States right now. When I talked to him the other day, he's in the process of training a young man to come in so he can get some time off. So as soon as he gets that time off, we are going to have him on our guest on our show. You wait till you hear him. He did tell me one thing. He said this all stems back to the Tower of Babel. Before the tower, during the time of Babel, during the time of the tower, there was only one continent. It was called Pangea. And when the Bible tells us that when God destroyed the Tower of Babel and he scattered the people, he actually broke the continents apart. And that's why you have Sumerian and Egyptian articles in the United States. You've got them in South America. You've got them in, all these different places. That's why these people have these same stories that they've passed down from generation to generation. That's why that you see the same depictions on the hieroglyphs of their drawing, their cave drawings, is because during that time, there was one Pangea. And it makes perfect sense that when he didn't take the people and scatter them. He broke the land in two and in fours and in sixes and in eights and put the oceans between them so they could not go back together. So
exactly. And yeah, you have to understand when things are passed down from generation to generation, and if they represent to the T the exact same things,
yeah,
then it's correct.
It's not coincidence when that happens,
No.
So stay tuned for that. I'm not sure how we're going to do that yet. We may do that again by an invitation only broadcast. We don't know yet. I don't know. I doubt it, but.
Oh, well, the thing we got to know is we just got to keep watch.
Yep.
And don't believe anything you see on TV anymore.
Exactly.
Look it up for yourself. Don't even believe us. Go research it on your own.
Exactly.
No, I don't recommend using Google because Google, as you already know, uses tools to censor the truth. There's other browsers and search engines that you can use. Yeah. But research it yourself. Take a deep dive. Understand that there's more than the 66 books in the Bible.
Yep.
There are many more. Research and study those. Exactly. Get a deeper understanding. God, have the Most High guide you throughout this process, because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be uncovered as we enter in the last days, and the two of us can't necessarily do it on our own. There's a lot of channels out there that attempts to do it, and most do a great job, but there are some that is in there to be deceptive and bring in false doctrine into your life. So you have to be diligent and vigilant as far as what you receive and what you research yourself.
Exactly. And we give you guys enough of sources. Every single link that I pull up on these shows, I put underneath in the description below the video, plus more. There's some times that I have literally 25 tabs pulled up and I may only go through 10, but I'll put all 25 in the description for you guys. We always can back up. That's why it really irritates me when YouTube tries to hit us with false information, because I source everything out.
Absolutely. I mean, you know me, I source the source too.
Right. That's what I mean. I might have 15 different things, 15 different pages that say the exact same thing, but it's like somebody I posted something up the other day, and it was I knew that I was going to get crap. It was from the Sun, but before I posted it, I had looked and I had vetted it. I had looked and there were several sources for it. And the guy was like, do you have anything else to source it with? I said, I don't know. You want mainstream media? Which one do you want? There's I don't understand. You know what? Don't ask me. Just go look for it yourself.
Well, that's the purpose of tabloids. They're used
to think we all watch Men in Black.
Well, they're used to have you be like, oh, that's not true. But in actuality, it is.
Exactly. Men in Black. Do you remember the part with the tabloids when he said, the tabloids are actually more truth than the actual newspaper. So,
Right.
Exactly. Right. All right, guys. I think that's all we got for you. Anything else you want to discuss tonight, Ernie?
No, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, it is. It is just the beginning. We will not be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we will be on Rise of the New World Order. Let me grab that channel for you guys. I think Jeff Hayes will be back tomorrow night. I'm not quite sure. Darn it. Right.
Just make sure you tell Eric to clean out his wormhole before he broadcasts tomorrow.
Oh, for love of God. Don't.
Sorry, guys.
I love that man. I'm telling you. It's so funny because
awesome.
he was adopted, and we are so much alike on a lot of things. Like he'll go to send me a message, and or he'll call me or something on the phone, and he'll be like, and I was like, he's like, you're my sister. I swear to God. I said, well, you might be. My father was a horn dog. He's got kids all over the United States. So I said, you might be my brother. I never know. So, and he is adopted. So, wormholes. Yes. Wormholes.
I'm sorry, guys. You had to have been there.
That's an inside joke. Yeah, that's an inside joke. But Rise of the New World Order, over there we have a co-host. His name's Jeff Hayes. He's the author of these books, Rise of the New World Order, The Calling of Man, Rise of the New World Order, The Awakening. He does have a third one, which is a update on the first one, and then he's now finishing up his fourth book. And we will get those, have those available as soon as they become available to mail out to you guys. I think just about everybody's got 1 and 2. If you don't, let me know, and
They're fantastic.
Send them out. Now, can I ask you a question? How far are you into the first book?
About 3/4.
Okay. Can I ask you a question as a man of color?
What's up?
Is that book by any chance a white supremacy handbook?
Are you kidding me? Are you really asking me that question?
I am asking you that because it seems to be a serious problem here on YouTube with people spreading around the false information that those books are a white supremacist handbook.
If anything, I think it's the opposite because he tells the truth about us as a people here in America. So right. I don't understand how somebody could come up with that conclusion. Yeah.
Unfortunately, they've not only moved on from attacking Eric and myself, but now they've moved on to start attacking Jeff and leaving him bad reviews and everything. So,
well, they haven't read the book for themselves, so
obviously they haven't read the book.
They have no basis.
Exactly. I just wanted to ask a man of color, because being 3/4 of the way through, you think you would run into something by now.
Well, if it was white supremacist, do you think I would say it's fantastic?
No. Exactly. Absolutely not. And if it was white supremacist, I wouldn't be sending it out to people. I got that. No, absolutely not. So, all right. What book? Rise of the New World Order, The Calling of Man. The one on the left. Do you have it, Jeff? Did I send it to you? Do you not have it? Jeff. If you do not have it. Oh, okay. All right. So. All right, so you can find us over there tomorrow night, hour later. It's going to be 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, only because Jeff Hayes, the author, he lives on the East or the West Coast, and he's in a different time frame than we are here. So he works. So thank you to everybody. I want to thank everybody in our chat room. Thank you to all of the moderators, and we will see you tomorrow night on Rise of the New World Order. Until next time, take us out, Ernie.
Eyes open, no fear.
Boom.